Be me. Be a watcher. Get told by God to impregnate some woman. Do it. Bitch disowns me and becomes a freak. Steals my kids. Everyone in my life betrays me. Each lifetime I get killed in violence. Get constantly set up by a half-demon that kills me repeatedly. Keeps trying to set up conditions to get me killed by my twin brother. Makes many regillions to get me killed. Destroys my life multiple times. He's trying again. Failed. He's trying to kill the world because he failed. Gets stopped by me. Destroys all his allies for trying to set me up again. Fails to destroy the earth. Makes thread on 4chan crying he's being punished. No, I wanted to be the hero. Turn around and say no, because you're a murderer. You want to stop the world from getting a cure too. Tells him to go fuck himself. No, you're we're supposed to go to hell again. No, you're going to burn again because I don't have a reason. Nope. JPG. My face when. Some just never fucking learn. I hate bad guys and Uden. And now it's really obvious they are evil. And they only want Judens. Good for them. I'm not playing. Doesn't play other side fails all objectives. Cry more. I lived in a haunted house for many years with my father and my grandmother in high school. It ultimately shaped me into even wanting to browse this board. Even though 85% is LARP, I enjoy the experience. Be me. Mom's a pillhead who can't take care of her children, so I moved to dad's in high school. He has a house in the country outside of where I was born. House used to be a model for the county on how to build bomb shelters. Low space for me, so I live in the bomb shelter. Dad, who I've ever known as a devout or spiritual man, says he's been seeing shit that didn't make any sense. Inviting Wiccan friends over to try and cleanse the house only agitated them more. Spirits are an old couple and something malicious, according to a local witch and family friend. Wife was chained to the radiator outside the bomb shelter and slowly starved and withered to death. Husband's spirit is trying to pull her to the other side. Demon spirit ultimately has clung to all of us, but I fear me and my father the most. Get unexplained cuts and scratches that heal after prayer but burn until so. Clocks all shut off around 3:13. Static coming from devices incapable of making static like smartphones and Nintendo Wiis. Grandmother becomes racist and eye color changes. My grandmother fought alongside civil rights activists in the 60s. Alchemy equations scrawled into the floorboards. Fetus effigies in the crawl space. Younger sister painting visions and dreams of us all dying. Everyone had auditory hallucinations. Everyone fell down the stairs to the basement and had the door shut on them at least once while living there. Camel crickets swarms when paranormal things happened. Dad always forbid me to touch the broom above the furnace. Always would stare at the broom, never touched it. Had her blood on it. Only person who touched it I lost touch with almost a month later, saw him punch his mom and then become a Freemason. My grandpa told this a while back. He lives in rural Quebec, outside of Saguenay. Not exactly the middle of nowhere, but definitely not in town. Be my grandpa. Lets dogs outside by themselves to do their business and play. They're Great Pyrenees, which can get to be fucking huge, and they're well trained so they can handle themselves. After a little bit he hears one of them growling at something. He goes outside to see what's up, and his dogs are staring directly at the tree line and growling. He scans the tree line once and sees nothing, but on the second pass he sees something in the treetops shift. Not at the ground. The fucking treetops. Immediately notices this thing hanging onto one of the trees, sort of half camouflaged with brown-gray skin or fur or something. He said he thought it might have been feathers. Compared it to a giant owl person, mostly because it had enormous eyes. He goes WTF and the dogs start freaking out and barking at it. He watches this thing shimmy, maybe halfway down the trees, then turn and leap to the next tree like a fucking cricket does, and it just keeps jumping away into the forest. Grandpa grabs the dogs and runs back inside. Stays up late watching the trees behind the house with his gun. FFW to September this year. Be me. staying at Grandpa's place because my brothers don't really stay in touch with him and I thought he'd like the company. Sun has just set, Grandpa's an old man now so he calls it a night early. Only one of the dogs is alive and it usually sleeps in his room. The guest bedroom that I'm in's window faces the trees. I have it open because I like autumn air. Suddenly hear the trees shaking, think it's just the wind. Realize it's one by one. Realize it's rhythmic. Look out and realize one tree shakes and then another. Remember his story about Grasshopper Owlman. MFW. Me. Live in suburbia, Tennessee if you're wondering. The age where you can't tell if memories were dreams or actually happened. Couldn't have been more than 5 years old. Everything has that ethereal dreamlike quality. Remember this as snapshots of feelings and emotions, so sorry about any vagueness. Don't remember who any of the other kids were. Have this ability to find rooms in people's houses that shouldn't be there. We'd go off exploring some empty part of the house away from everyone else. Basement, upstairs bathroom, closet, something like that. I only specifically remember finding them in a closet and this weird attic cupboard thing. There'd be a door somewhere in the room which I remember being totally normal looking, but instinctively I knew it wasn't supposed to be there. On the other side were rooms, I think like 2 or 3 usually. They'd be rooms you'd normally find in people's houses. Except sometimes there'd, maybe, be something wrong or off about them. It might have been every time but I just didn't understand as a child, or none of the time. I remember a room with a pool table, low lights and green painted walls. A massive house floor-sized living room with a really low ceiling with an overly large sprawling couch. What was presumably a kitchen where none of the cupboards would open, like they were just protrusions or indentations from the counters. The thing I remember most, relatively speaking, was a shower where all the walls were carpet. Shaggy, brown carpet. This is actually what triggered me to remember all this and make this post. I took a candy bar back from somewhere in one of the rooms once. The packaging looked Asian, as best as my child brain could equate it. I saved it and actually think I still have it somewhere if people are interested. Me. Why? Raised in a Roman Catholic family. Figure out that it's been corrupted since the 300s. Realize most of the shit Christians believe is just pagan and Jewish ideas. Say fuck it and worship the Norse gods. Say fuck it again and realize that there must be an almighty deity. Worship the gods and the Sky Father. Call him by many names, Tyrannus, Rolya, Divus, Braham, YHWH. Realize that the gods could be called gods in their own way, but our angels are emanations of God. Eventually find Islam. Think it's a schizophrenic desert cult like Christianity. Find out that Muhammad was white. Look at Islam's teachings. Fall in love. Even put my faith back in Jesus, PBUH. Eventually go with the white Jesus cope. I know call my God Allah, and hope to honor his last prophet. I'm finally happy. Any of you love Islam? Have some OC. Me. Be laying on my bed almost asleep. Get a weird feeling like I am being watched. Turn to look out my window. See someone outside my window. *smybuddy.jpg. Walk over to the window to let him in. Unlock the window. Wait, that's not my buddy, I think to myself. Panic. Turn to run for my door and get the fuck out. Don't make it to the door. Movement is slow for some reason. Grab onto the door frame as my feet kick out from under me and get pulled toward the window. Try to scream. Nothing comes out but strangled noises. I lose my grip. I wake up. Pick related is what was outside my window when this happened. Me. Immortal fawn/squirrel/goat thing. At least I think I'm immortal. I don't age in the portal world so might as well be. It's strange. I used to be human once, or am human now, at least I think I was. It gets confusing. Sometimes when I sleep in specific places I get long dreams. Sometimes they can last for decades. I'm in one such dream right now. I even played a game that's an interpretation of my world. They got the dragon bit wrong though. He didn't come to help. Funny how that works. It isn't the first time I've been here either. Your world sucks this time around. Everyone is a slave. It's very unnerving. I'll be stuck here for several more decades more at least. So after this houseman's dad moved in with his girlfriend. Everything was pretty normal until one night. Not sure if this is the same evil entity as before BTW. Be me. Home from university. Sleeping on the couch because my younger brother took over my old room. Researching the lesser keys of Solomon. Feel something watching me. Look up. Ah shit. Immediately petrified by fear. Shadow entity with red eyes and horns is staring at me. Starts walking through our walls inside to our kitchen. Just learned an angelic spell that calls from protection from the Archangel Michael. Always felt connected to Michael. Our family name is the Hebrew version of Michael, like God. He started to back away from me. Something is telling me to not look up but to also chase it off the property. Finally go to bed like 2 hours later. Be me. Wake up in the morning. Feel nauseous and my body sore. Take medicine. Go to sleep sometime after. Wake up. See myself laying down in first-person mode but also see a television in front of me. Everything else but the television is blurry and The Simpsons is playing. Try to move but can only move my hands just barely. Start freaking out. Call for help but it's no use despite my family being in the next room as my voice is barely making a wisp. Start losing oxygen. It feels like somebody is choking me. Try to grab my phone to call 911 but end up succumbing from the choking before I could call. Slowly lose more and more oxygen for about 10 until everything went black. Wake up with my throat dry ASF and begin crying uncontrollably not long after. Try to tell family how I almost died while in tears and they don't believe me. Needless to say I haven't been the same since. I am scared of falling asleep thinking that whatever was choking me may come back to finish the job or just that I may die in my sleep in general and didn't go to sleep last night. P.S. Are hexes real? Could that explain the weird experiences that I've been having? I remember seeing on here before all of this started happening a post saying how Op will hex anybody that responds to the thread and I did and I called him a LARPing faggot then soon after things started to take a turn.